guys, it is of course Oprelia AI here, and today finally we are going to be reviewing Kling 3.0 model, which is now available on most platforms, and this comes along with a lot of new updates. So as the press release says, Kling 3.0 model is powered by a deeply unified training framework enabling truly native multimodal input and output, seamlessly integrating native audio with advanced element consistency control. Kling 3.0 also infuses AI-generated visuals and stronger sense of life and coherence, and in addition also multi-shot storytelling. Now, first and foremost, this website is really laggy right now, so when I'm trying to like replay these clips from here, they are just not really loading at the consistent speeds. I don't know what is going on with their servers, but it is what it is. So here you can see a bit of a footage about a fight, a boxing thing that has been generated with Kling 3.0. And it's actually not looking too bad, but you know, it's always these promo shots, they always look better than the real stuff, and I'm as always going to be keeping it very real with you guys and giving you an honest review about this platform and this model. So, and here's a bit of an explanation about the upgrade. There is this Omni access thing, which is now available on klingai.com, where I've done my personal testing on, and that's what I'm going to be showing you. And here's a comparison what it can do over 2.6, which wasn't a bad model. I didn't experiment too much with it, but things that I generated with it I thought turned out to be pretty good. And maybe in some ways 3.0 is not always as good as 2.6. More about that later. So multi-shot element reference with start frames, multi-character coherence, that is coherence, very important if you have multiple characters in your story which are interacting maybe in a fight or a dialogue scene or something else. Many languages, dialects and accents are also in. 15 seconds output duration, very important, and flexible duration. And some other stuff here about the Omni capabilities, what it's supporting here, what is available, and versus the old Kling 0.1. And then it kind of goes into a couple of different things. I like this model, this shot for example here, it looks very realistic. And if I was watching this on a second screen or something playing in the background, I would not pay too much attention to it. But there's small very things here, like how the OJ basically moves on the glass and how he's moving the fork on the plate. Aside from those things, like, you couldn't really tell that this is real. So very impressive. There's another one with some Chinese audio, and very impressive look. It's keeping this sort of a 70s 60s color style. I love this, by the way. This looks amazing. So very impressive. And then obviously the multi-shot, more about that later on my own testings. And it's kind of showing a bit of the frames. Also the cool thing about here they're basically showing a clip about.
Disculpe, ¿dónde está la Plaza Mayor?
Por allí, a 2 calles, muy cerca.
Muchas gracias.
So different languages are also supported, which is very good. And then there's some other stuff here, which is probably most of you have seen this by other people's videos. And then I like also the elements. You can add one character, second character, and even another element here, and they all combined in this actual output. So it's really able to understand the objects and the elements especially when there's not a lot of motion. But when it comes to a lot of motion, well, it gets a bit different. And also you can also add voices apparently here, so I think it's doing lip syncing based on the audio, so that's pretty impressive. Dubbing is a very important factor for many, and it's just kind of a lot of other things. Now let's actually go into my dash over here. As I said, Kling AI has been what I've been using, and I'm going to be showing you, let's go from worst to best. I started out with like testing out, okay, I want to do some anime stuff. How well does it do to the animation? Here's a So as you can see, there is insane amount of distortion. And by the way, audio was playing on double on the background, so it sounded like echo, but that's not what it was. But in terms of animation, it seems to do really horrible job at it. A lot of pixelization. The movements are very clunky, floppy, and there's duplication on some of the objects you see. The characters split in two. The knives are also like moving weirdly, and some of the other movements are just not really there. Then I tried the same shot, same image reference. And this is image reference. This is not like made out of blanket. Usually image reference based videos do better in terms of movement. Sometimes this might be a bit of a tough because not a lot of things going on here. So I did kind of follow the actual prompt over here. The sounds were okay. The guns were not sounding too realistic, but in terms of like at the point that they shot the guns, the actual audio was following up. It was synced in, and I do like that. But the animation here is extremely distorted and feels like it's like from an older model or something like that, and it just was not really that good. Maybe the prompt, well, which was done with their AI, by the way, it was not really maybe best for this one, as this is not like, you don't want to do the pan camera things on anime as well. But once again, it shows you that it's not really good for animation. Then we had a bit more success, and this is actually now done with the multi-shot thing. So basically you can tell it, okay, 2 seconds you do this, the next 2 seconds you do this, and next 4 seconds you do this. And here is the prompts that I used, 3 different shots, and here's the end result. So what I can tell you from the bat is it was able to follow absolutely everything correctly. There's a couple of problems, however, here. Obviously, there's my text on the side and also on the front of the car. It says Oprelia, but then on the window, it actually creates Oprelia as well. And on the third shot, it actually adds a human into the car, which is dying in the explosion, or I don't know what happens to him or her, but that wasn't there in the car. The car was empty before that. So it added a couple of new elements. So there was a bit of a pixelization here on the inside, and I don't know why it tried to add text when I did not add any text into that. So there was branding in the photo of the car, and that's it. But it's really high quality shots, and it looks pretty realistic footage, and I was able to follow my prompts really good. And this is 720, so it's not too bad of a quality either, and it looks realistic in my opinion, outside from the texts which were prompted in. But yes, for real life footage, it's actually pretty impressive. Now let's look into a couple of 2 other animated things I was trying to. This didn't have image reference, but it did have a reference of a character that I was basically creating within it. So you can use this character, and it creates basically side shots of that character to give it like idea for the AI to use that as base. And here's the end result.
Not even close.
You ready for this?
So not very good. Once again, very much pixelization, but the movement is more smarter than it was on the previous animated things. And there's some type of fighting going on here, but a lot of like arms are twisting around, pixelization. It just does not feel natural at all. And I feel like a lot of these AI models should have some type of preface or preset, sorry, that it says this is for animation or this is 3D style, thing, because those are 2 different separate things, and they should, respect different types of laws of physics and I guess reasoning, in terms of AI. Here's another one where I was able to use my character and also a pre-made character of Jinx from League of Legends. I don't know how they got the rights to use that character. This is not, I guess, the exact same Jinx. It's been altered a bit. The gun that she's wearing is not the same, but the outfit is. I don't know legally how is this possible, but it's interesting. So once again, I kind of told them to fight, and what they're doing is actually like doing playing tag, and just like running. But I think characters are a bit more consistent over here, but once again, it's not fighting. They're not doing anything here. They're running away, and there's a lot of dialogue, which I didn't prompt in. I just said fighting in the city, and it is an anime city on the background, so I buy that. But once again, not very good looking. Once they are very close proximity of each other, a lot of distortion happens. So I don't know why that is. Maybe part of the model, but not the greatest. Now then, I went back into doing some other animation things. This is Samurai, and it fell pretty close to my instructions. Once again, I was using AI to give me some random thing that I prompt, and it's okay. the samurai is too static here. I said standing, I didn't say like frozen in a state, but whatever. And you know, it's doing a lot of the things that I told it to do. There's a lot of effects going on, and there's a lot of things that I did prompt in. So sometimes when you use AI to create prompts, it's not always the best idea because they give so many details, and the model might take it very literally. Then there was another prompt that I used for 2 times, and here on the 5th second it says, open up the door, or somebody opens up the door and cold winter comes in. In this case, it does it on like this, almost on the last frame, but yeah, okay, everything else like looks pretty closely to the prompt. This also didn't have an image, so this is a pretty high quality shot. This could be from a movie actually, and the camera shakes. Everything feels very natural here. I like about it, but the door, okay, it didn't follow it. Then there's the same shot, but this time with sound. So the problem here is that it's having these air, you know, outside sounds of air and wind blowing, even when the door is not open. So it does not able to understand that this is actually inside a house. And the other effects, you know, it's not really a fan or TV sounds that you hear on the beginning of the clip. Yeah, some weird sounds which don't even match. So this is the only one where I felt like the sounds really didn't match the end product. So then there I was like, okay, let's do a fighting scene, but let's not do animation. Let's do just real life footage. So once again, the medieval knight manifests outside from the dinosaur, then his head turns into a dinosaur, and it's just like all over the place. Maybe the prompt wasn't the best, so I did try the prompt again and made it a bit more simpler, so that seems to be doing better. So do simple prompts with Kling. Now here is actually following all the instructions I gave it. So it is they're in a jungle. There is a dinosaur trying to charge. The knight is dodging, and he does swing a sword. And there's also mud and leaves that are flying at the half of the clip. And the camera is tracking sideways. There is a bit of kinematic lighting, which does look kind of bad in this case. This doesn't look as great quality. This is also 720, by the way. And realistic motion and weight. So less text, the better. And so don't do overtly complex things with Kling, at least, or with the Omni model. And then we have our last clip over here.
Jacob is Rico Delcrun. I so burrow which at the dessert kind of made with some alcohol. Jacob.
So this was also a reference character that was inbuilt inside Kling. So hey, I'm gonna put this guy in the thing, and he doesn't get too much distortion actually on the clip. And he is skating on a road that has been made out of candy, or candy-like substance. And then he slides a giant roller coaster. I didn't make, say, a very good transition. Like, then he jumps into a roller coaster or something like that. But this is a pretty good transition into that, in my opinion. Obviously, his legs get all fucked up in the roller coaster. So there's all that, which is not great. And, you know, but I do like the look of it. It looks like from a music video, and at least on the start. And it does look pretty high quality for a 720 shot. So I'm not too, you know, critical about it, but it does go all over the place in the end. So all things considered, let's say, you know, how things are. I think Kling 3.0, a lot of people have been showcasing a lot of the non-animated stuff, which makes it look more better model than it is. I had kind of high expectations, and I was really disappointed after my prompting, to be honest. But that's obviously my preference because I prompt a lot more of animated stuff. I like anime, Pixar art, all that type of stuff. That's kind of my groove, my thing. So if you're also into that and looking for an AI, this is not for you. But in terms of the prompting with the Pro model, which is required for Kling 3.0, which standard does not include 3.0, just so you know, this is around like $1 per 100 credits, and doing 10 seconds is going to be costing you you know, like 99 credits if you're going to be doing audio. Without audio, it is going to be 66. So without audio 66 and with audio 99, obviously depending on what you're doing, you don't necessarily need to have 11. Oh, that's actually 11 seconds, so 10. Let me correct that. That is, I think, 90 credits. So we are talking about, for a 10-second clip with audio, is around $1. And you get 3,000 credits, which means roughly around 30 videos for the price of $32 on the current monthly plan. Obviously, if you do the year plan, you're gonna get more, all that stuff. But obviously, like, you could just get Higgsfield, which is obviously gonna release with Seedream 2 soon, and get access to both models, and you can do unlimited prompting with a slow mode on Kling 3.0 on Higgsfield. So their native website deal is not really good. I really don't recommend it. One thing that I really think that Kling 3.0 is really good at is at the multi-shot stuff. That is where all the money basically is, because it allows you to do different transitions in the video. Like, now we're going to transition into a phase where we're in the building. Now we're going inside of the mind of the character or whatever. You can do all those things. And people, based on the clips I showed you, I think a lot of people probably would agree that the car shot was the best out of all and most successful all the prompts that I did. So yes, the multi-shot is a very effective way for storytelling and cinematic feel, and it just seems to be following those orders pretty well. So in my opinion, if that's a feature you really want, which by the way Seedream 2 can do also, I don't know. Right now I would argue that Grok is so much better deal, because Grok can do almost every single thing outside from being 15 seconds. It's limited to 10, and Grok can do both 2D and 3D. So maybe a bit better sound design on Kling, in my opinion, and this multi-shot thing is also good. So Grok can't do that, but Grok can allow you to basically prompt infinitely on their platform for $30. So it's kind of about quantity, quality type of situation right now, what you want to do. But right now it's kind of expensive to prompt here, and I would not use it because I don't like the end result of the 2D animation. Even if you're going to be using the elements that you create, it does not seem to do a significant upgrade on the animations and remove pixelization. So I think it's very far behind of Seedream. But I'm not going to blab any longer. I'm very excited to review Seedream 2.0 on the channel. If you want more of my opinion on Grok, obviously you can check out my previous video as well in case you missed it. But Kling 3.0 is not too bad, but right now it's just like, I just don't really see how I could justify picking it over, you know, Grok and Seedream 2 as of right now. I just don't see it. Thanks for watching, guys. I will be seeing you in the next video when that will be dropping out.